Hello everyone, Nachi here. For those who don't know me yet, I'm a transition coach and I help immigrant women to feel empowered whatever they are. Today is the fourth video of this series, How to Get Your First Job in the U.S. and we are going to talk about the interview. If you didn't see the other videos yet and you are interested to follow the steps, which is really interesting, go to the description below and the previous videos are going to be there. Okay, so today we are going to talk about the interview process and how to rock on it. Are you ready? Come with me. The interview is usually a very scary moment for many of us. We are, faced with the devil. We are finally, we went through the first steps of the process, which are usually very tiring and we don't see the immediate result from it. But when we get a call asking us to go to an interview, it's just amazing. But then we stop and think, oh my gosh, now I'm screwed. I'm not prepared. How do I prepare? What do they ask me? What do I have to say? How do I, get informed about the company and all those things? So that's what I'm gonna talk about a little bit to help you understand and get a clear picture on how to prepare to an interview. And what are the things that people don't usually talk about, but that are really important. So stay with me until the end of the video so you're gonna be very prepared for your first interview. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is that we usually have a misconception of interview as something that is going to be an interviewer and us, and this person is going to be evaluating us, right? It is part true, but it's not the whole truth of this process. During an interview, you also have a very proactive role on it. You are being evaluated, yes, it's true, but you are also evaluating the company and you are also trying to understand if this company is the right company for you, if it makes sense, if it meets your requirements, and if matches the priorities that you have in your life. So I just want to knock off this misconception here because you have a very active role in the interviewing process and you have to take charge of it and make it happen. Otherwise, you will feel like in a passive role during the interview because you are not preparing the right way. So in order to prepare the right way, it's important that you know what your priorities are, so you can have this on the top of your list. So first, when you are going to look for a job, you are already going to have this checklist by you and see all these positions met my requirements as well. It's not just that I'm meeting their requirements, they have to meet my requirements too, because it doesn't make sense to start going to interviews and even get a job in a position that you hated and that you know that you're not gonna be there longer, and that just, oh my gosh, it's been such a painful experience, that job. You don't need to go through that. We are in a good economy. We are in a society where there are opportunities for everyone. The rates of unemployment are very low, so you can find a job that meets your requirements. This is one thing that you have to understand too. It's about your economy and about your possibilities. At this moment in America, you have the possibility to choose your job. So take advantage of that and prepare yourself to make that happen. So the second thing of the interview is that, right, I already said that it's not just you being evaluated, but also you evaluating the company, and it is a negotiation process. It's important that you practice asking the questions that are important for you and understanding how flexible the company are to meet those requirements or those priorities that you have, or how rigid the company is toward those things, and really feel the balance of things, how much you would have to give up, how much the company is able to flex for you. So it's really important also to understand this movement. So that's why it's so important to ask questions. You are not going to ask questions just for the sake of asking and for the interviewer to think, oh yeah, she thought about one or two questions. No, use the questions and the time you have to ask the interviewer very wisely, and ask questions based on your priorities. So for example, it's very important for me to have more days of vacation because I like to go to Brazil once a year and spend at least 1 month there, for example. Okay, so this is my top priority. I really want to find a job that has this flexibility, and even if they don't pay me the 30-day vacation, which is not so usual here in the US, they can give me 2 weeks and give me another 2 weeks that are not paid, for example. So it's important that on the interview I ask about this. I ask, well, it's really important for me. I'm from another country, and I like to go to my country usually for more than 2 weeks. How flexible the company are in terms of that. You know, you don't need to really go around, just ask. It's the interviewer, he's gonna appreciate that from you because you are being proactive, you are being honest, and your intentions are not to take advantage of the company, but to understand how they can understand your priorities and be flexible towards it. And the same thing to the other side. Ask them, do you have anything that is really important? How can I meet other things? How can I offer other things in exchange of this extra 2 weeks vacation? And start this negotiation already, so you can have a better picture of how working in this company would feel like for you. Another example is, well, I want to continue my education. Let's say you are working as an secretary and you want to be a project manager in the future, and you can ask, well, I want to go back to school. In the company, they have any incentive or any help to people who want to go back to schools, how it works here in the company, or do you guys have any continuing education, how it is usually to grow in the company. It's really important that you ask those questions, but not just for the sake of asking a question. It's important to ask the question towards your priorities. So ask the things that are important for you. Now that we knock off this part that is really important, let me talk about something that you are probably waiting to listen, because this is usually what we are more concerned about: the questions that the interviewer asks during the interview, right? So what are the usual questions that they ask here in the US? Well, they are not so different than general questions of interviews. So if you've been in interviews before, you actually have a little bit of knowledge on that. So things regarding your experience, your skills. If they ask you to tell a little bit about yourself, they are not expecting that you talk about your entire life. They are expecting that you are going to focus on your working experience. So if you have, for example, you went for a trip and you spent a year in, I don't know, Bali, and you learn another language that can be useful to that position in a specific, then you can mention, but you don't need to mention a lot of facts about your life unless this is relevant to the position itself. Another thing that they love to do here in the US is to give you examples of things and ask how you can solve it. So these questions will vary a lot depending of the area that you are gonna work. But before going to the interview, think about problems that you've solved on your jobs before, or read or see videos about that, so you can have more ideas of how to solve intricate problems in your field. And this is definitely something that they ask. They love to ask about your strengths and your weaknesses, and just be real. I think perfectionism is not really a weakness, and a lot of people love to say that they are perfectionists as a weakness. Just give an example of something that it was hard for you to resolve, and maybe you can talk a little bit how you matured, or how you got out of it, or what did you do to, or what you are doing to improve that thing that is hard for you. It can be, I don't know, communication, or just give an example, so it will be more clear to the person who are interviewing you. And everyone have weaknesses, and what they really want to see there, and it's how you approach the question and how honest you can be towards your points that need to be improved and what you are doing to improve them. So this would be an interesting approach to take on this question. If you have a gap on your curriculum, it's important to think about an answer for that. If you have 2, 3, 4, 10 years gap, try to understand what you did and how you grew in other areas of your life, and how you invested your energy in a productive way, even though it wasn't on your profession specifically. So that could be an interesting way to approach this question if you do have a gap in your curriculum. They also can ask what type of job you are looking for, what you are expecting your boss, what are the things that are important for you in the work environment. So it's important to think about those questions, and it's also what I've been talking since the beginning is like a self-discovery journey. It's important that you have clear in your mind the things that are important for you, the things that you want to achieve. It's important that you understand well this range in your life, so you will approach all these questions with a lot more calm and tranquility. I think that's it regarding the interview. The most important thing is that you understand and you do your research about the company that you are going to be interviewed, that you see this process as a negotiation process, just not being evaluated, because we're also evaluating the company and seeing if the company is a good fit for you, and to get prepared. So if you are in this phase and you want to do the homework is to practice. Write down these questions and answer them and practice them. So just practice, or if you have a friend, again, I've said that, go to this friend, and if you feel that you need an extra help, that you are not being consistent, and that one week you do a lot of things, another week you don't do anything, and this is impacting your well-being, your emotional state, give me a call. I have a free first session, and we can go over those things. I can give you some more extra tips based on your personal experience, and if you are interested, we can start a process together, and I can help you to find your first job. So thank you so much for watching. The next week I'm gonna talk, it's gonna be our last video, and I'm gonna talk about getting your first job and how to negotiate your salary, understand your possibilities of growth and your role in this new position in your life. So thanks so much for watching my video. If you like the video, please hit the button like, subscribe to my channel, and I see you guys next week. Beijos and bye bye.